All right, everyone. So welcome back to another tutorial. Today we're going to focus on the live view. So the live view is the component that you as the DJ would use to see all the song requests and messages. It's sort of like the control panel for the event. So when you're running an event, you want to make sure that you have access to this because this is where your guests are going to be sending in those song requests and messages. So you can view the live view on really any device. So that could be a cell phone, it could be a tablet, it could be a laptop. I would say the best experience is probably on a laptop, but a lot of folks are using their phones and tablets, and it's working well. So I'm going to use a PC for this example for this tutorial. But yeah, so why don't we jump into it? So essentially, I'm going to create an event. I'm not going to focus as much on creating the event because I think we've covered that in other tutorials. I do want to focus on the live view, which is pretty new. We just launched it maybe 3 months ago. So you can see here on your screen, I'm in my RequestNow dashboard, so I've already logged in, and on the right, I have this like cell phone view. So that would be from the point of view of a guest, which we're going to use in the tutorial. So first, we're going to set up an event. Um, so you're all probably used to this by now. So you would create your event. So you could say, I'm going to say tutorial event. I want it for today so we can start using it. Remember that an event does start at 6 a.m. Of the day you select, and it runs for 24 hours. And this basically, we just want events to run for 24 hours, so we assume they could start in the morning and they're probably going to end by 6 a.m. If you have some circumstance where that doesn't work, you can contact us, and we're pretty flexible about changing that. It's just not something we want to do for every event. But so I've selected the date here, and then again, that auto reply, is the thing that they get back every time the guest sends a message. So this is a nice way to just say like, um, hope you are enjoying the tutorial, and again, also for branding, you could put something like an Instagram link. And it's important to call out that it's better to put an actual link here rather than just saying like at RequestNow app, because when it's created on the phone, they can't do anything with this. They would have to copy and paste this into Instagram. Instead, this link should hopefully make it so that if they click it, they can more easily get to your Instagram page. And I forgot that it's actually RequestNow app. So I hope you're enjoying the tutorial. You could put your website, and then the thank you message, that's the one that's blasted out at the end of the night. So thanks for watching the whole video. Hope this helps with your RequestNow usage. And then you could put our website, for example. We've talked about the contact card. If you want to see a tutorial on that on our YouTube, we have a separate tutorial for the contact card, so you can click that there. So for this example, I do want that to send out. I do want to use song detection. So just real briefly, song detection is basically when someone sends in a request and says, play Peaches, we'll try to then figure out what the song is. So we'll say, thanks for requesting Peaches by Justin Bieber. And that's really just to kind of add a little bit more of a novelty, a little more fun for the guests. It also does organize the request for you. If you turned that off, everything would be treated as a message, and you would have to basically filter out the songs yourself. And we'll go into that in the live view in a second here. Guest names is a cool feature where if you want to enable it, guests can basically tell you your name, and you would see that in the live view. So I think I'll turn it off for this tutorial, but that is something that we do offer. And then photo wall is new. I don't want to get into that, but that basically lets guests send in photos, and you can do a slideshow. We do have our own YouTube video tutorial on that as well, so I'm not going to check that. And then event type is helpful, so you could put prom. And if you're wondering why we ask for the event type, if you do use our Notify Now system, that's the system that basically blasts people that you've texted in from multiple events. So if you've used us, let's just say for 3 months, you could basically blast all the guests over those 3 months, and we will in the future support Notify Now blast by event type. So this will just help organize your events just for filtering and that sort of thing. How many guests? So we could say 100 here. Okay, so it's pretty simple. So you fill out the form, you click create event. So the event has been created, it's letting us know. So that's right now when I'm making this tutorial. This is my request now number. And then this is the important thing. So this is the live view link. This is the thing that you need to see your song requests. It is also emailed to you. Um, as it stands, this link can be sent to your DJs. Let's say you are a multi-op owner and you have, um, you know, one of your DJs is going out. You would email or you could text it to them. If you have an assistant, you could text it to them. You wouldn't want to send this out to a lot of people because they essentially would have access to your event. So um, in the future, and we'd probably update this video, but we are going to add a way for you to basically put a password so you could protect this. But for now, it is secure by the link itself. So the only way for someone to get access to the event would be if they have this link. So you just want to share it with people that you are working with, essentially. Anyway, so now we are in the live view link. So this is the important view here. So this is the dashboard, or the live view as we call it. So the first thing you would want to do when you load the live view at an event is you'd want to make sure it's active. You want to make sure you see an active here. And if it's not active, that would mean that you've selected the wrong date or you've ended the event. Like, the system's not going to work unless that says active. So that is something that you want to sort of check on as the first thing. You'll notice that our settings are here as well. So it's important to note that the way this is arranged is our settings. So end event is important. End event is the button you would want to press when the event is over, as the name states, and this sends that thank you message out. Sometimes people ask and say, what happens if you don't end the event, or you don't want to send the thank you message? You just don't click that button. So when you click it, it will send the thank you message, and anytime a new text message is sent, it will basically send back your away message. So the event is over. So this is helpful if you've stopped playing and people are leaving and they might want to still send song requests. You do want to end it so that it's clear. If you don't end it, guests can continually send in song requests, and not that it's really a problem, but if the event's over, you might as well end it. So that's what end event is about. Run Raffle lets you, kind of as the name suggests, it randomly picks someone who's texted in. So if you've, have maybe 10 folks who've texted in, it will pick one of those 10. If you click it, you'll see the last 4 digits of that person's number, with the idea that you'd get on the mic and say, the winner is, and you'd announce their 4 digits. It does not text them. So that is something that right now it does not text that winner. So you could run it a few times if you want to get a hang of it. It's not going to text anybody. The dashboard takes you back to the screen. This switches you to the live view. Our previous version, if you were a customer a few months ago, you would have seen it. But moving forward, there's really no reason to use it, as this is the more improved version, and we will no longer be adding new features to the old version. Dark mode is basically, so that it's this kind of black dark view. All of us kind of DJ usually in dark settings. If you, for whatever reason, want light mode, you would just uncheck this. Notifications are only supported on a computer, so a laptop or a desktop. If you click it, it will basically say, do you want to allow for requests? Actually, in the screen capture, you can't see it, but it just asked me if I wanted to allow allow notifications. So when new texts come in, I will be notified. So sometimes people ask like, hey, I'm in different screens. I don't, I want to be able to get a desktop notification. So that's how you would enable that. But remember, it's not available on mobile devices, so you would need to check periodically on those devices. Okay, so those are the settings, and we will come back to end event when we're done here. So just wanted to show you the settings area, so that's right here. Now, the way we've set this up is, and I guess the other thing to call out is the event name is here and the phone number if you were to forget what number, in case, I think that's helpful for people who have multiple numbers. In any event, so it's broken up into 2 sides. So you have the requests and you have the threads. The requests is basically going to pull out song requests from your guests. If you have multiple guests texting in, one guest could send 5 song requests. If we're able to identify the songs, all 5 will show here. And on the right hand side, we show guests by, well, we display by guests, I should say. So if you have 10 guests, you'll see 10 rows. If you have 2 guests, you'll see 2 rows. It's kind of complicated, but if you have 2 guests that each send in 5 requests, you would only still see 2 requests, 2 columns on the thread side. So think of this as if you're texting somebody. That's the best way to think about it. It basically is just like your texts. Each person is their own bubble, no matter how many messages they send. So let's get started. So we're finally going to use this little iPhone screen that I have up here. So a guest would scan your QR code. If you need help finding your QR code, it is in the Numbers tab. You can also contact us if you'd like us to make a poster for you. But so the guest would scan it, or they would just type the number in. It's pretty simple. And actually, a third option is we have these stickers where these guests can put their phones near them, and the phone number would pop up. So there's actually 3 ways to get the number out to your guests. But okay, so I'm a guest now. So I'm just going to type on my phone here. So I'm going to say play. And it's hard to come up with songs on the top of my head, so I'm just going to use the top 100 songs. So I could just say play Peaches as a guest. You do want to tell the guests to use play. It's not a big deal if they don't use the keyword. You're still going to get the request, and our system, as you see, sends a welcome message. So let's review what just happened. So again, this is the guest point of view. So it says play Peaches, and the system sent what we call the welcome message. So this says, welcome to RequestNow, send a song request using the play keyword, and we give an example, and then we have this message here to let them know that they can opt out at any time. But then they see the auto response, and that welcome message is only going to be sent once in their whole RequestNow time. So if they come to like 4 events, they're only going to get that message the very first time. So it's not spammy. So play Peaches. So we did recognize it. You can see the system, the song detection worked. It says the correct song, and then the auto reply is right there. So if I clicked that Instagram link, it would open up in my Instagram. So that is a good way to get more followers if that's something you're trying to do. So this is the guest point of view still. So we're looking here, and it found the song. So now let's discuss what the live view is showing. So the live view pulled apart the song request from the thread. So we can see here on the right that we have this tile here, or this card I'll call it. And this is the request that I just sent in, play Peaches. You can see about a minute ago, so we give you a sense for when the song request actually came in. And then on the left, we identified it. So the idea is we're going to pull all the requests on the left for you, and on the right are sort of the threads. So without doing anything else on the live view, I would like to send in maybe 1 or 2 more requests just so we have a little bit more on the screen. So, okay, I'm just pulling here from top 100 since I don't want to deal with coming up with songs on the spot. So play Levitating looks like, it's a popular song, and you could even try putting in the artist. So let's see what happens. Whoops. Even some typos actually work as well, but let's see. So I haven't tried this before. Okay, so that one worked, and it is, yep, and it got the featuring right. So now we should see 2 tiles here. And again, it does take a few seconds to sort of show. So there we go. It took about, 3 seconds there. So now we see 2 song requests because we've sent in 2 songs. But remember, it's just been 1 person, so we only see 1 thread. So far, it's all kind of adding up. Now, I have another phone with me that I'm going to send a request in to sort of mimic another bar. So I'm going to find, I'm going to send in Play Thriller by Michael Jackson. That's one we definitely get a lot. So I'm going to send that now. So now, since I'm not using the phone you see there, I'm using another phone that's not on the screen. We should see a second row added to the thread, and we should see, hopefully, a third request here. And yes, that is exactly what has happened. So we have 3 song requests from 2 different people. So now I'll basically pause, and I want to first talk about the thread. So you know that you have 2 people texting into the system, and they've sent, I guess, a few different song requests, and we have sort of the timestamps here. But you could click into it. So let's say, for whatever reason, you couldn't play this song. Let's just kind of make up that you couldn't play this song. So you can respond back and forth with the person. So you could say, sorry, I actually can't play that song. Do you have another one? Now, when I hit send, it's going to take a second. I should see it on the, yep, I see it on my iPhone, right there. As you can see, it was actually very fast. So I saw that. So I could actually respond and just say like, no problem or something. So I'm responding back. So you're engaging with the guest. It says message sent to the DJ, so that's great. And you also get the auto reply, and then you can see, yep, you got that message back. Okay. Same thing for this guest. You can talk to them as you see here. The only other thing to talk about on this view is you can block them. Let's just say someone's, sending in a lot of requests or being annoying, you can block them. When you block the guest, they won't know that they're blocked. So they won't get a message that says the DJ will block, or like the DJ has blocked you. They can continue to send in requests. They just won't basically get anything back. So it won't really look like you blocked them, if that makes sense. But you won't see it on the screen, so it won't be distracting anymore. Okay, so we talked about the threads. Now let's talk about the song requests. So you can see that we have a few different things going on. So, sorry, I just clicked this card accidentally. So you can actually click it, and you can also respond with the person. Now the thing to keep in mind is multiple people could have sent in the song request for Peaches. So if I go to the other phone and say play Peaches, it should actually not put the new tile of Peaches. It should just sort of tell you that 2 people have requested it. So let's give it a second to see if it does that. But that's sort of the idea. Let's say like 5 people are requesting the same song. That's kind of the beauty of our system is it counts the people. So it did do that correctly. So you see the 2 here, it says guest and another person. So if you click on this, one, you can quickly let them know that their song's up next. This is a very popular feature, informing up next. But you could also say anything you'd like. So you could actually tell this whole group of people that you can't play the song or you don't have the song. But the most common thing is to just let them know that their song's up next, which is why we've pre-filled it. So you can see that I got, yep, you can see in my iPhone view here that Peaches is going to be played next. So that's very helpful. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. So clicking on this card brings up the conversation. It does the exact same thing as this button. This was in the previous version, the inform next up. So you click it and it just lets you inform them up next. So you click this, it lets you know how many people. You could also type your own message. Starring basically just brings it to the top. So this is just helpful for you as the DJ to be like, oh yeah, Thriller's a good one to play. And then you can delete it. So deleting it is basically meant for when you're done, like when you've played it, or if you're never going to play it, for example. When you delete it, the guest is never notified. So there's really nothing to worry about. So let's pretend I just sort of played that song. I would just delete it, and now it's gone. And yeah, that's really it. So I don't want to make this tutorial too long. I did want to talk about the cases. So just a quick recap. The main things you can do here are have conversations back and forth with a specific person. You would do that here. If you want to talk to the people that requested the song, you would do that through here. And you have to assume that it could be multiple people, but our system will tell you. Let me just think if I'm forgetting anything else. You can star songs, bring them up. You can delete songs. You can delete threads too. So let's just say, you're done talking to this person. I don't really see the need to delete threads. You would just sort of keep them as they come. And I guess I did forget one thing. So let's say that we didn't recognize the song. So I'm going to send a text message that hopefully we won't recognize. So I'm just going to say like Peaches. I'm just going to send something actually interesting. So I'm going to say like, can you play that new song called Peaches? So I don't think our system would be able to pick this up. Yeah, so we didn't pick it up because they didn't use the play word, for example. So when I click this, you will look through it. So you will have to click through it. And you did see that red square. That means that you have what we're basically calling an unread message. So you need to open it, because someone could send like 5 messages and we only display the latest, so you could miss it if you don't open it or if our system didn't identify it. So you would click this, and then if you want to shortlist it or add it to the request side. So this is helpful for when our system does not recognize the song, and I should point out that if you turn off song identification, nothing will ever appear on the request side and you will have to do the work yourself. So can you play that song called Peaches? I would have to click this plus because I know in my head that it's the song Peaches. So now it just showed up here. And the idea here is like, okay, in your head you know it's Peaches. Um, so this just lets you basically save things yourself by adding to the queue, or add to request is what it says. Um, But yeah, so that's essentially the live view. The idea is it's supposed to make it easy and seamless to interact with many guests. If you're using this in a big setting, you could, have 10 people request the same song and talk to them all at once, which is really cool. At weddings, really cool to inform people when their song are up next if it's, important to them. Using the guest names, you would see their name here. So, if you're doing a wedding, you could say, to put the bride's parents, to put a special message, what requests are coming from them. A good way to communicate, if you want to have the photographer text you in, it's a good way to communicate with them, for example. We've seen people do that. But before we end the tutorial, the last thing we need to do is send the thank you message out. So that is important. So you click the end event and it should let us know what the thank you message was. So it's just kind of reminding you here, thanks for watching the whole video, hope this helps. And then this is just our instructional messages right here. And just like that, it sent the thank you message. So it sent, and also the thank you cards, the contact card. So don't forget we had that enabled. So you can see here on my phone that it said, so here's the thank you message. Thanks for watching the whole video. And then this is a contact card. So I just made this DJ name up, but this is really one of the big benefits of RequestNow is now this person has this contact card. So I've already saved it, but I basically put my fake number in, an email, a homepage, and someone could find you now. So that's sending out the thank you message, and it says it sort of ended. So now you know that you can't use this event again. You can't go back to it and try to in the sense of having people send song requests and the event is over. You can always go back to old events if you want to just look at them to see what songs were requested. So if I go back to the dashboard, I would click this past tab and I would see all my requests. But that's the end of the tutorial. Hope that was helpful. Please reach out to us if you have questions or ideas for other tutorials. And just the last thing to say would be we do have a Facebook group. So the Facebook group's a great way to ask others questions. All right. See everyone later.